Okay, writing an English essay can be a real pain, and sometimes you don't know where to start. Sometimes it can seem really complicated and you don't really understand what's expected of you. So we're going to go through a really straightforward series of questions that helps to break the essay down into its component parts. If you just answer every question in order and answer it as a full sentence each, then you will have a fairly solid original piece of work that you can submit. Okay, so it's really easy, and all you need to do is follow the instructions step by step. You'll have a copy of this document. Answer each question in full, and by the time you get to the end, you'll be done. Don't do it all in one hit, or it'll break your brain. What I want you to do is, just for starters, answer questions 1 to 3, and then have a break. Right? Once you've done those first 3 questions, you will have a complete introduction that will be your own original work, and then you can go off, eat a sandwich, sit out in the sun for half an hour, and then come back and do the next part. Right? Answer all the questions that make up paragraph 1, go off, play half an hour of FIFA or something like that, whatever you want to do, and then come back and get back at it. Right? If we break it down into smaller parts, it gets a lot easier. And here's how we're going to do it. The introduction's really straightforward. You just answer the question in a full sentence as it appears there. And the sentence is, what type of literature are we studying, and what response does it create in the reader? And we've gone through this often enough that it should come pretty naturally to you. We're studying Gothic literature, and the response it creates is fear and unease. Always fear and unease. Okay, if you remember Gothic literature and fear and unease, you should be okay. Then the second question, which stories are you writing your essay about? You will know which 3 stories you've picked. I assume you've picked 3. Just tell us what they are in a full sentence, and if you want to get really fancy, include the names of the authors. Last question, which Gothic techniques will you be discussing? Okay, so you just write something like, in response to these stories, this essay will discuss the following techniques, and then you name the techniques. Simple as that. 3 sentences, probably 50, 60, 70 words altogether. Have a break. Come back in half an hour. Do paragraph 1. And you'll notice that the questions for paragraph 1, 2, and 3 are all exactly the same. The structure is all exactly the same. You're just going to be writing about a different combination of a different story and a different technique each time. So paragraph 1 might be about the use of a Gothic setting in the road, for instance. And so you just say, don't get fancy, don't get crazy. You just, in response to this first question, you just say, this paragraph will talk about the use of setting, Gothic setting, in Cormac McCarthy's story, The Road. Boom, sentence done. Next question. What feeling does this Gothic technique create in the reader? This Gothic technique creates a feeling of, you guessed it, fear and unease in the reader. Okay, remember it's fear and unease. Third question. It's not even a question. Give an example, which usually means a quote from the story, where the reader feels fear and unease. And just as a hint, the example has to relate to the technique that you're talking about. Okay, so for this third question, you might say something like, an example of McCarthy using a Gothic setting in The Road is when the man and the boy come across a dilapidated house. And on we go. Why does this make the reader feel fear and unease? Question 4. All you're going to do is write one sentence to explain your response to the third question. Okay, so you write, the man and the boy come across the house. It's a Gothic setting. And then for this question, you say, this Gothic setting makes the man and the boy afraid, and it makes the reader feel afraid for them. for example. Then you move on, and this is your last sentence in the paragraph, your linking sentence. What type of literature are we studying? You're just reminding us of this. What type of literature are we studying? And what response does it get from the reader? And all you're going to do is you're just going to recap what you said in your first sentence. We're studying Gothic literature. It gets fear and unease out of the reader. And in this case, it's used by Cormac McCarthy in The Road. And then you just repeat that for whichever combination of author and technique you're using in paragraph 2 and paragraph 3. 2 sentences for your conclusion, and that's it. Break it down like that, and it should be nice and easy. Shouldn't be anything to trip you up. It's basic reading comprehension, basic one sentence answers. Okay. As always, if you have any problems, please send me a direct message. Good luck.